From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Ants Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Hello everyone, Mike Kruger from Weather NorCal here. Of course, what we're taking a look into your weather headlines for this afternoon. And of course, we got a heat advisory for the valley and foothills until tonight. We do have a gradual drop in our temperatures though, and still pretty hot even tomorrow, upper 90s. But for the valley, we're talking mid 90s on average here, really through the extended outlook here. Highs closer to normal near the middle to the latter part of next week. And I mean that is closer to the 80s, right? And then we have a potential for some bigger changes. Near the end of next week, we're talking significantly cooler temperatures and maybe some rain and maybe even some showers coming from the sky as early as Friday. We'll take a closer look at that in Futurecast here in just a second. But here's your neighborhood forecast at a glance for today. Yeah, another hot day in the valley. At least 100 degrees for most of us in the valley. Some of you may be able to dodge that triple-digit mark. Otherwise, 80s and 90s for the higher elevations, and for the coast in the upper 60s for those daytime highs. So again, we've got that heat advisory until 11 o'clock tonight for the valley and the surrounding foothills, and that'll probably expire before 11 o'clock tonight, but you get the idea. Just another hot day out there. In fact, we still have that moderate heat risk for most of the valley. Some of the surrounding foothills are in the major heat risk. Essentially what this means is that this affects most people that are sensitive to heat, especially without proper cooling and or hydration. So this is another one of those days where it's good to just check on your elderly friends and neighbors and your relatives. Check on younger children and make sure that they are not experiencing any kind of heat exhaustion. And don't forget about your pets, their paws, making sure that they also have plenty of water as well during these unseasonably hot temperatures, right? Typically we're in the upper 80s for this time of the year. So this is not normal for us to be up to 100 degrees or higher. Now, we look at the winds, and this is just kind of giving us an idea of what our fire danger is looking at. So, yeah, despite the fact that we're in fall, and despite the fact that temperatures are typically supposed to be cooler, we're still in the fire season. So the wind's not that much of an issue here for today, although it's still gusty, especially out towards Crescent City here for today. Taking to Thursday, look what's happening. You see how we're starting to see some winds getting stronger, especially the east side of the valley and even into the eastern mountains. And check this out. The winds do die down Friday for the valley. But look at it, we've got some pretty strong winds coming in here for parts of Modoc County, eastern mountains as well. That may elevate that fire danger a bit. So with the lower humidity, again, coupled with the winds, especially for tomorrow, of course, this is what it looks like today. Still dry, still hot, just not as windy. Winds picking up Thursday and still looking at those very dry conditions. And even though temperatures are dropping, still at least upper 90s in the valley for tomorrow. And then Friday, temperatures dropping down to the mid 90s. Winds not as strong. And the humidity is still very low, and still very low off into the eastern mountains as well. Again, especially with those stronger winds, that will elevate that fire weather risk. So let's take a look at that fire weather risk for the next couple of days. And really, the peak of the fire weather risk is right around noon today, right around midday, and then it kind of drops for the second half of the day. But Thursday, right, check this out. As we go on Thursday afternoon, now we're getting in that high to even very high range because, again, winds still very hot and still looking at those very dry conditions as well, even into central Siskiyou County as well. All right, let's take a look at the big picture here. Storm system riding to our north, another one here. As long as these storms are riding to the north, high pressure is not going to be able to build in as strong as it would like. So as a result, our temperatures should eventually start to drop. Now take a look at Futurecast. This is interesting. All right, so today, yeah, not much going on, right? Sunny skies, even for the coast, not looking at much in the way of fog, if any, for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, you've got clear skies as well. Now, Friday, check this out. Got these clouds coming in. Now, I think it's mainly going to be in the form of some clouds. Futurecast may be overdoing it here a little bit here, and I'm not even setting it in stone just yet, but there could be, I mean, we're seeing that potential for a stray shower through the noon and even afternoon hours for parts of the mountains, parts of the valley. But you can see that moisture coming in from the south and west. And then by Friday evening into Saturday, that's all pretty much gone. So what's going on? Let's take a look at the bigger picture here and take you down to the south. Now, as we look at the image right now, there's not much that you can see. But eventually, as we see the flow come around that area of high pressure, it's actually bringing in some of that subtropical moisture. So as a result, we may start to see some more clouds, and as you saw there in Futurecast, maybe even the potential for a stray shower as well. Now, is it going to be a big deal? Probably not, but I think really bottom line is this will help to drop our temperatures down a bit. And then by Saturday, it's gone for the most part. It's kind of shifting back down to the south of us. But kind of an interesting little anomaly going on here. We'll see if this actually holds true. Like I said, I haven't set it in stone just yet on the 7-day forecast, but that may change. We'll see. So we've got the potential for some changes on the way. I mean, take a look at this. Number one, first of all, that ridge of high pressure is still in place, but it's a flat ridge. So that's why our temperatures aren't getting as hot as they could, but still hot nonetheless. This rides to our north, it suppresses that heat. So the high pressure over the eastern Pacific, that's actually breaking down. But we still have high pressure over the desert southwest. It's expanding into our region, not directly over us, but expanding into our region, keeping our temperatures fairly warm. That is going to hold on fairly steady in its current position through the weekend and at least through the middle of next week, say around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, even into Thursday. See how it's holding pretty steady in its current position. But what's happening is this cooler air right here is slowly migrating in our direction through next week. Now, we're not going to see a very big drop in our temperatures. In fact, keeping it mainly in the mid-90s through at least Wednesday. But by around the end of next week, both the European and the American forecast model agree that sometime around the end of next week, say Friday, maybe into the next weekend, this could push through, not only giving us a big drop in our temperatures, but maybe, just maybe, even a better chance for some rain. Fingers crossed, not set in stone, nothing guaranteed, but a pattern that's becoming a little bit more consistent, and we're beginning to see the long-range forecast models agree with that solution. So a little bit more confidence that that may happen. All right, so here's a look at our forecast for today. Temperatures most likely 100 degrees or higher in the valley. As I mentioned earlier, I think some of us in the valley still may be able to dodge that triple-digit mark. Temperatures in the 80s, some 90s in the higher elevations, about 97 for Weaverville, 95 degrees in Hayfork. Again, some of the warmer spots in Trinity County may be upwards of 100, but for the most part below 100. And we're talking mid to upper 60s along the coast. Inland, most likely dodging triple digits as well, but 96 for Hoopa, 97 degrees for Willow Creek. So let's take a look at your 7-day outlook. And could today be the last day the valley sees 100 degrees for the year? At this point, I'd say there's a pretty good chance that may be the case. Thursday, still a little borderline, right? We're still in the upper 90s. But by then, mid-90s, all the way through the beginning of next week. And then this does not show it, but as we go into Wednesday, Thursday of next week, temperatures dropping even more. So as we get closer to the middle of the month of October, which remember, October 14th, historically speaking, is the latest we've seen 100 degrees since 1896 twice. It can happen, but the chances of us breaking that record get pretty slim. So yeah, today may be the last day. For the coast, temperatures mainly mid-60s, give or take. For the inland areas, a little bit of an up and down here, but mainly in the 80s by the time we do get into Friday. Maybe some low 90s in there as well. For Mount Shasta, Alturas, and Susanville, also seeing that drop in the temperatures, eventually dropping down to the low 80s by the time we get into Monday, Tuesday of next week. That's your afternoon update. I'll be back at 6 o'clock this evening for your forecast.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.